Hello, my darling, it's Chanel, and today I am letting my aura, goddamn bluebell, no, she got me, she scratched me on the way down. Bubbles, no. Today I am letting my aura ring, she's trying again, decide what I read. So I have worn my aura ring on and off throughout the years. Normally I wear it the most when I used to train. Oh my God, that's a lot of blood. Cats, man, all the scars all over my body are from my cat scratching me. God damn. All right, as I was saying, when I used to be a lot more athletic before all the chronic illnesses hit, I used to use the ring a lot. Now, pretty much I mostly just track it for recovery so I can see how my body did overnight and how much I can push it the next day. So I did end up, my ring did malfunction, so I didn't use it for like 6 months, and then they sent out a replacement. So these stats are not legit. They're about 6 months worth of stats, but when I saw the wrap, I was like, oh, that kind of looks like a book cover. So why not make it into a vlog? So that's what I've done. So let's just have a look at the 3 statistics that I've chosen to influence which books I'm going to pick up and read. So first up, they told me my element is water. I am a water baby, I am a Scorpio. So that tracks. It says, I found a calm, restorative flow in the evenings this year and made sleep a fountain of strength. Sure, okay. It's like, that's all I want to do is sleep, so I did. For this prompt though, for water, I picked the book Never Have I Ever by Isabel Yap because she's literally submerged in water and has got quite a mellow kind of cover. So this is a collection of short stories. So this, I have started reading this one, and a lot of the short stories are kind of centered around Filipino myths and culture. For instance, I never previously heard of a manananggal, and it's basically this bat-winged creature who can detach half of their body, so they sort of tear their upper torso off and they're flapping in the breeze with their guts dangling out. And in this particular story that I read, she likes to eat unborn children. So that was a very interesting short story. I will talk more about it once I have finished the collection, but that was my choice for the water prompt. So the next statistic I got was that I took 11 naps this year. It was a lot more than that. It was a lot more than that. Sure, 11. And this picture is a lady kind of on a flower. There's like moon and sun. So I thought, what's similar to that? Do I have any books on my TBR that could fit that vibe? And I did. And it was The Simple Art of Killing a Woman. You have a woman who has flowers inside her. So, you know, close enough. So this is by This is by Patricia Mello, translated by Sophie Lewis. So this is a Brazilian author, and this is a genre-defying tale of women in the Amazon and their reckoning with brutal oppression. It's poetic, humorous, dark, and inspiring. So it's looking at femicide in Brazil. So I'm guessing it's going to be a heavy read. Despite the very pretty cover, there's brutality bleeding within its pages. So that was my choice for the Flower Lady prompt. And then the final statistic I'm using to pick a book is the steps. So it says I took 909,000 steps. That's like finishing 14 marathons. Yep. I think it's like under 3,000 steps a day or something. I'm very sedentary. I didn't used to be. That's what's happened. I do miss my former very energetic, active self. But yeah, I do what I can with the energy that I've got. But this picture, like, you have a mountain, a man, and a sun, like a panoramic vision. Straight away, what genre would you think you've got the best chance of finding a cover with this? It's screaming fantasy, right? You know, man standing at some peak looking into the distance triumphantly. It's fantasy. So I had a quick look and I found one instantly, and you're going to laugh. I might be shooting myself in the foot here, but because I did like Tress, I decided to give Brando Sando another go. Like, I read a few of his books, didn't like most of them, but I love Tress. Tress was a stellar read for me. So I thought I would give The Sunlit Man by Brandon Sanderson a shot. This is one of his like sort of standalone books too. So it's not one of his series, which I've had the least luck with. So we'll see. This one is about Nomad, and Nomad has been putting distance between himself and the relentless Night Brigade for years. He's got to stay one step ahead of his pursuers. Not only must he fight for his survival, but also his soul. But, you know, the cover, guys. You've got like a man standing on top of a mountain with the sun behind him. So it nailed the prompt. So those are the 3 books that I will be reading, thanks to my Aura ring. Not sponsored. My plans for today, very simple, easy peasy. I am cleaning the house. Shock horror. Because I've got a friend of Valentine's coming over for, I guess you can't call them play dates when they're 13, right? But it's a play date. They're gonna just chill at the house. So I like to have it all spick and span. And then we're just popping out to run some errands later in the day. So, you know, getting the petrol, which is eye-wateringly expensive right now, and maybe heading to the organic store to get some fruit. The general produce has declined in quality. I don't know if you other Aussies agree, but supermarket stuff is absolute shite. I live for summer fruit, and every summer fruit I bought from the supermarket has been horrible, including like the independent grocers. So I'm gonna cough up the dollars for the organic stuff because I have some fruits from my garden, very little. I've just started with my permaculture. So at the moment we just get things like blackberries and berries, my apple trees and apricot trees, they're still coming in. And obviously my cucumbers, top notch. When you've had it from the, when you've grown your own, you can taste the difference. So my cucumbers and tomatoes have been coming in clutch. I've been eating a lot of them, but I want to eat more. You know, summer is the one time of the year where I actually do crave fruits and veggies. So I think, yeah, like previously I was fruitarian for 2.5 years, and that kind of turned me off raw fruits and vegetables after that, eating just raw fruits and vegetables for 2.5 years. But summer is a season where I do like fresh and flavorful. So yeah, going to the organic store, gonna see what I can buy. It'll be like $20 for a pound of strawberries or something, you know. Like, okay, we'll see how we go. And I think that's it for today. We've got a lot of stuff lined up ahead, and I'm trying to like prepare my body for it. Like, babes, you're just gonna have to get us through. We'll have a crash day, but yeah, I've got play dates today. I've got my cousin Phoebe coming again tomorrow to see the girls. I've got Nosferatu with Kate lined up, so I am the most excited for that. So we're having a little bit of a movie date day. And then I was meant to be going to the tennis with my sister, but she's also got chronic illness and she's not sure. We both wake up on the day and we let each other know how we're going, because that's a day that needs a lot of spoons. So I've never been. I'm not particularly interested in tennis. I guess Djokovic is cool, but I'm not much of a sport watcher. I will be bringing my book, because why not? Why not? You know, just in case. I really don't like watching tennis. I can read a book. But yeah, that's just what's planned in the next few days. But I will touch base with you guys when I finish a book. So I probably will be finishing Never Have I Ever first, and then going on to the next 2. So these are a bit full-on reads. Maybe I should have chosen something cozy, but they fulfill the prompts. And as soon as I find something that matches, I'm like, done. On to the next thing. So see you guys later with our book review. From the garden. Tomatoes, eh? Okay, I'm back, and I finished reading Never Have I Ever. So this was a collection of short stories, some about a Japanese lady who kisses a kappa during bath time to save her dying husband, real world Sailor Moon monster slayers, and probably my favorite one, which was about a lonely gay witch who conjures up Tinder brews and misty workplace boyfriends. Overall, I'm giving it a 3 stars. It was fine. I'm not a huge fan of short story collections. I keep trying them though, because you never know. I think my favorite one that I've read is Fruiting Botties by Catherine Harlan, if memory serves. But yeah, this was fine. My favorite story was the Witch Boy one, the Sailor Moon Slayers, and the Home for Good Girls Who Eat Unborn Babies. I have started reading The Simple Art of Killing a Woman Oh boy, it is fucking heavy. It is super heavy. The writing style I am enjoying. It's about a lawyer who watched her father murder her mother when she was a child. And one day at a party, her boyfriend slaps her across the face and calls her a slut. And she's seen where this will go. She knows what levels are coming, and she decides to leave him and take up the case of a 14-year-old Indian girl who was essayed, tortured, and murdered by 3 men. And while she's on this case, she's also collecting all of the cases of other murdered Native women, and the list is ever growing. I will read a little excerpt from this book so you can see what it's like. Of course, they aren't born like this. Only a few are born to murder. But psychopaths are an elite class of murderer. The general working mass of murderers, the majority of them I'd say, have to learn to hate before they can kill. My father was a good student, but there's nothing easier than learning to hate women. There is no shortage of teachers. Fathers teach it, the state teaches it, the legal system teaches it, the market teaches it, and culture and propaganda. But the best teacher, according to my colleague, is pornography. The author sometimes puts at the beginning of the chapters a very short sort of stanza about, I'm assuming, real life murders, femicide, and yeah, it's very, very hard to stomach. Majority of the people that kill women are men that are known to them. Generally, husbands and lovers, or fathers and brothers. I'm going to admit that I did consider DNFing it because it's just, it's so dark and so depressing and violent, but I kind of want to see it through, and I want to see what happens to the main character, because she's currently at an ayahuasca ceremony and her ex-lover has turned up because his mother is one of the Amazonians who are leading this ayahuasca ceremony. So I'm like, what? No. So I will finish that off and then I will let you know how it goes. And then after that, I will start The Sunlit Man. So basically, they are mini cheesecakes. So all different flavors. This one is yuzu, salted caramel. I think this is mango passion fruit. And in here, we have the original strawberry and chocolate. More cakes. Okay, my cousin just left. She got me some beautiful things. Let me show you. So she got me this beautiful, I think it's meant to be a red poppy cup. It's so gorgeous, so darling. I will think of her whenever I drink out of it. And she also got me these little things. I won't take them out, but it's a heart-shaped bowl with a heart-shaped medallion, and then these little cat and panda, and I think that's a penguin, little figurines from her trip abroad. I have finished The Simple Art of Killing a Woman. My God, the violence is visceral in this one. It is very, very hard to stomach. It's probably a bit much for me. I've decided with a 4 stars, but the writing is fantastic. The story does have these fever dream kind of moments where she is on her ayahuasca trip, so sometimes it was a bit hard to discern what's happening in reality and what is fictional. Her ex-boyfriend Amir did end up posting videos of her, so the revenge porn thing, and the murders escalated of the women, and it's just, it was a lot to take in. I will read another bit from the book because her grandmother in this gave me life. I absolutely loved her grandmother. And so this is from the scene where she finally tells her grandmother that her ex-boyfriend, you know, verbally and physically assaulted her, and her grandmother ends up calling her ex-boyfriend and says, tells her what she told him. So this is what her grandma said to her ex: that I now know about him slapping you, that if he didn't make himself scarce, if he didn't keep well away from you and me, I would show up at his office and kick up a scandal on a scale he's never seen. And if this didn't work, I would hire a professional assassin to finish him off. And that, after blowing his brains out, my hitman would be sent to sort out his sister, his father, and his mother. There'd be no one left in his family to perpetuate the name. He will never forget that phone call, my darling. She was rad, and I loved her, and the female camaraderie in this is fantastic. Obviously, the violence against women is not. The book also touched on the Indigenous cultures and peoples, and the fact that their crimes are not even really investigated. It also touched on environmental impact in Brazil and socio-economic factors as well. So there was a few different subject matters discussed, obviously femicide being the main one, which was horrific. So this is more like a horror story to me than a thriller. They were very descriptive in a lot of the violent crimes perpetuated. So yeah, this is not a book for everyone. I can't say I enjoyed it because of the subject matter, but yeah, it's a 4-star read to me. The author did a great job of telling the story within a story too. So I am now going on to The Sunlit Man by Brandon Sanderson, and I am just heading out for a bit with my kids. Might go to a park, and then I'll touch base with you when I have finished it. Today's library haul. No idea what these books are, but that's what I picked. Hey guys, I am back with the final book, The Sunlit Man by Brandon Sanderson. So this book is about a man named Nomad, and he is running from some people, and he finds himself on this sunburnt planet. But the sun on this planet is like a laser. If it touches your skin, it incinerates you. It's a crematorium, but somehow he manages to survive being touched by the sun, and he ends up being captured by a tyrannical king who throws him into a game with other slaves, gladiator style. He ends up escaping with some rebels, and that's about as far as I got. So I gave it 150 pages. The man Nomad, the most interesting part of this was that he had this kind of tool, weapon, guide thing called Auxiliary, who seems to be the soul of a dead knight and is able to change form. It can be a wrench, it can be a sword, but I did like Auxiliary. The thing about this is that I do believe I was missing a lot of background information from the Stormlight Archives series, which I think this was obviously a part of. Like, what the fuck is investiture? There was so much sort of world-building magic system that I just knew you needed the previous knowledge to be able to understand. And besides that, besides feeling like a lost cunt, I just didn't enjoy it. I was bored. I think personally, Tress of the Emerald Sea was an exception for me in regards to Brandon Sanderson's writing appealing to me. I loved this. Did not like anything else I've read by him, and I didn't want to push through. I wasn't enjoying it. I was feeling like a 2.5 stars. I was just bored, and I was dreading picking it up. I tried to read this over 5 days, and if you know me, that is very, very poor form. And that's just because the enjoyment level wasn't there for me. So I'm sorry to DNF, but life is precious. So this one wasn't for me. Let's quickly recap the books I did pick up thanks to my Aura Ring stats. So obviously there was A Sunlit Man by Brandon Sanderson, which was a DNF. Then I read Never Have I Ever by Isabel Yap, which was a 3 stars for me. And my favorite read of this reading vlog was The Simple Art of Killing a Woman by Patricia Mello, which I gave 4 stars, and which is why I'm wearing this dress today. I thought I'd do it in honor of this brutal but beautiful. So those were all the books I read for this reading vlog. Let me know if you also use Aura Rings and what you think of them. But until next time, stay wild, Star Child.